Good evening and welcome back to the today's class of The Hindu Daily Current Affairs 17th April 2021. Okay, so let us start with the first news today. Today there was not much of a news present in the Hindu, right? So today we'll discuss the news in details because we have ample amount of time. So today's first news is about Bharat Biotech, right? Now, as we know that Bharat Biotech is a vaccine manufacturer presently in India. It manufactures COVID-19 vaccine, right? So it has said that it will provide India by 6 crore doses by July, right? So as we know that India's population is reaching approximately 135 to 145 crores, right? So that means that this much amount of production of vaccine will not suffice. That means we have to still give priority to the frontline workers till July, right? That means that the police people or the doctors, nurses, pharmacists, we have to vaccinate these people first till July, and then we can move on to the general population, right? That means that the vaccines which are going to come from abroad, right, leaving Sputnik, the other three which they enter the Indian market, right? So that means that the general population, you can see, that will only open after July. That may be the reason. Okay, moving on to the second news today. Second news is a topic of internal security in India, right? Now, as we know that the northeast, right, the northern states, especially the state of Nagaland, has been a center of extremist activities, right? Now, why it is this? Because the Naga tribe, right, they wanted independence and they wanted a separate constitution, they wanted independence, they wanted everything, and you can say they wanted a separate Nagaland from India, right? So, but this cannot happen. Nagaland is an integral state of India. How can we leave it? So the government imposed AFSPA over there. AFSPA is Armed Forces Special Powers Act, right? Armed Forces Special Powers Act. This is known as AFSPA. This gives the special right to the army to search and rescue, right? To search, seize, arrest, or even they have the right to shoot anybody without any consequential things, right? So this was implemented. That led to a fight between the army and the extremist groups. Now this was going for quite a long time. Finally, almost all the extremist groups, they have surrendered except of one, right? Now what is that group? That group is known as National Socialist Communist of Nagaland, right? Now this is the main faction, NSCN, which has not yet surrendered to the Indian government, or they have not signed any ceasefire. So they are still going their separate ways, right? So now what has happened? This group, right? Now how they used to fund their terrorist activities? They used to collect taxes from people, right? So that means the people of Nagaland had to officially give a tax to the central government, state government, and they have to give unofficially a tax to this NSCN, right? So now what has happened? These people has said a straight no to all the extremist groups today, that they will not pay any of the taxes, right? So now this is a very good news for India, but there is a clause in it that they have said that until all the extremist group unite and fight cohesively towards Indian government, then only they will give. That means they want to give the taxes, but they want that there should be a unified fight towards the Indian government. Okay, now moving on to the third news today. The third news comprises of monsoons. As I told you, Skynet, a private company, had declared a few days back that the Indian monsoon will be normal, right? Or it can be slightly good than normal, right? So now Indian Meteorological Department, that is the official government authority to declare on Indian monsoons, has said that the Indian monsoon will be normal. And now we can derive an inference from this also that the El Nino, which causes a disruptions in the Indian monsoon, will not happen to that much effect, right? Now this is an indirect inference which you can withdraw from this year's news, that El Nino will not that much effect on monsoons. Okay, so moving on to the fourth news today. Now, as we have seen that the US President Joe Biden had said that there is an embargo, that there is a stop to all the vaccine raw material exports from India, from USA, right? Now because they have stopped all the exports from USA, so Indian vaccine manufacturer Poonawalla, which is the CEO of Serum Institute of India, has requested Joe Biden so that these exports can happen, because when these exports are stopped, Indian production is falling down, right? That means that when Indian production is falling down, that will be not good for Indian citizens. Okay, so now this will pay as an indirect impact. Now the next news is also very good. It concerns Myanmar. It is not as such a continuation news. What has happened, the supporters of Suu Kyi, right, the last president prime minister of Myanmar, now her supporters are trying to form a shadow government, right? Now this is a very good news, as if they become successful, it will bring about peace in the region, and you can say that China will get definitely defeated in the coming areas. Okay, now this is a very good news for India, because certainly Indian internal security was going to get affected if migration starts taking place, right? So now this is a very good news for India. Okay, now moving on to the sixth news today. The sixth news today comprises of again Biden. As we know that the Japanese president has gone to USA, right? Now the Japanese president has gone to the USA by the name of Suga. Now they and Joe Biden have met, right? And they may announce when the next Quad meeting will happen in person, right? Quad meeting in person, next Quad in person, when will happen? They may announce the date. Now, why is this meeting taking such an importance? Because as we know that India is part of the Quad, and as we know that when such group is formed, we should take actions to immediately stop a threat to all of the China's actions, especially in the South China Sea, right? So this is a very good news. Now moving on to the seventh news. Now we can see why the China released COVID-19 virus, right? Now China is the only economy whose GDP grew by 18.3% in Q1, right? Now this is a very astonishing news, that why did China's GDP grew and the rest of the world is falling down. That means that some of the relations of China are coming to its apprehensions regarding the release of virus are true to some of the extent, as this is the country who is only successful, who is only in peace at this present of time. As we know that India is going through again a second wave today. USA, Italy, they are starting imposing restrictions again, right? So that means that when China is